Jolito is buzzing.
After 13 years of civil war in Syria, more than half a century of brutal authoritarian rule by Bashar Assad and his father before him, rebel forces have forced Assad to resign his office and flee the country. We're not sure where he is, but there's word that he's in Moscow. At long last, the Assad regime has fallen. This regime brutalized and tortured and killed literally hundreds of thousands of innocent Syrians. The fall of the regime is a fundamental act of justice. It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country. It's also a moment of risk and uncertainty. As we all turn to the question of what comes next, the United States will work with our partners and the stakeholders in Syria to help them seize an opportunity to manage the risks. For years, the main backers of Assad have been Iran, Hezbollah, and Russia. But over the last week, their support collapsed, all three of them, because all three of them are far weaker today than they were when I took office. And let's remember why. After Hamas attacked Israel on October the 7th, 2023, when much of the world responded with horror, Iran and its proxies chose to launch a multi-front war against Israel. That was a historic mistake on Iran's part. Today, Iran's main territorial proxy, Hezbollah, is also on its back. Only 12 days ago, I spoke from the Rose Garden about the ceasefire deal in Lebanon, a deal that was only possible because Hezbollah has been badly degraded. Meanwhile, Hamas has been badly degraded as well. Iran's own military capabilities have been weakened. Iran tried 2 times to attack Israel, and the United States and built a coalition of countries to directly defend Israel and help defeat those attacks. All this made possible for Iran and Hezbollah to continue to prop up, impossible, I should say, for them to prop up the Assad regime. Additionally, Russia's support for Assad also failed. And that's because Ukraine, backed by our American allies, has put up a wall of resistance against the invading Russian forces, inflicting massive damage on the Russian forces. And that has left Russia unable to protect its main ally in the Middle East. Excuse my cold. The upshot for all this is, for the first time ever, neither Russia nor Iran nor Hezbollah could defend this abhorrent regime in Syria.
All right, so there we have it. He just gave an address to the world about the Syrian regime falling. There is a fight for the East right now. There's the fight for mineral rights over there. There's a fight for the women. There's a fight for amassing the wealth that's been created over there. They're fighting for it. So you have Russia, who's protecting Muslims. You have Israel, who's supposed to be protecting the United States with their briefings and their intelligence. I don't think the United States is going to win this war. They already haven't. Okay. No one's taking their money. So if no one's taking their money, that means they can't aid Israel. Putin is smart. He's smart. He's basically did away with this whole Nazi regime that's in this country, and he's basically accepted the Euro-Asian alliance with Japan, China, and the other Asiatic nations. This was a poor logistic assessment. And I say that because you have land scouts in America, you have Sea Scouts, Air Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Rover Scouts, Ranger Scouts, And urban scouts, don't let me get started with the gangs in Chicago. The urban scouts, they're not going to do well with welcoming in the refugees. They have to cover all this mess up. They're not going to do well with welcoming in refugees from other nations. The mess they created in other countries is coming back to basically do them over. They don't know what to do here in America. The people who don't have military training, who are on some of these posts, like these hospitals, they don't know what to do with these people that are coming in. They don't, as far as like medical support, they don't know what to do. They're gonna almost have to induct a time where they're talking only and only about special forces going into aerospace. They're going to have to reorganize the map index. They're going to have to identify reference codes. They're going to have to identify data. They're going to have to create map sheets. They're going to have to reinfuse a lot of this stuff that we're seeing right now. They're going to have to do it all over. They're going to have to start the globe over. They can't do the New World Order. They can't do it. It's not going to work. The operation forces, the special clinics over there, the formal commands that we have in Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq. The people are turning against them. The people are turning against them. I had a Somali woman tell me, she was like, I don't care if you're a veteran or not. You know what I mean? Because we got into an argument about American politics. And she's like, I don't care if you're an American or not. I mean, a veteran or not. You shouldn't be in their countries. And I didn't go on to explain my situation because I felt like it was kind of like nonsensical to do so. You know, this person is emotional. She doesn't understand what's going on. She doesn't understand how important a ground task is in order to keep the assets safe. She doesn't understand, like, a country could just, you can be allied with a country. A country could just bomb you and just say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. And the whole time you all were supposed to be aiding each other. So, like, what you see in people, you ultimately see in nations, because, you know, people make up nations. So nonetheless, she just wasn't trying to hear what I had to say, but I wasn't trying to explain either. But you see, like, what's going on with you see what's going on with the Somalis in Minnesota. They're becoming a generic element of what you see in Chicago. They're taking over St. Cloud. They're taking over other cities in Minnesota, okay? Break-ins, all of that. They're doing that type of stuff. So how is he going to deal with domestic forces in America? How is Joe Biden, how is Donald Trump going to deal with, you know, what's going on? Like, how they're going to create an, how can I say this? How can they create a, Holito, I'm back. My phone cut off there. I was basically saying how they're going to create an oceanographic sequence where they are helping people space out into this island we're on in America and create an environment where it serves everyone. How are they going to do that? You have all the personality specifications between the different nations. You know who's not supposed to be near who. You know all of this, right? How are they going to do that? Because it's like a menstruation, right? You have all these people and you don't know what to do with them. Okay, I'm not saying that, Somali's not supposed to be here. I'm not saying that Nigerians are not supposed to be here. I'm not taking that approach. They are supposed to be here because America is their home. They have common ancestors here in America. I've said this over and over. This is what I'm saying. How are you going to stop an Hamas attack in America? That's what I'm basically saying. How are you going to stop that? They're having a hard time doing what Britain has done. They're having a hard time doing that, 9/11 attack, that didn't happen in Britain. That happened on New York soil. Okay? So Donald Trump, he's the 47th president. He has a lot going on there. He's going to have to engage the public, and he can do so by being emotional, exposing that trait that he has, being of the Gemini stock. He can't do that, because his words can cause you casualty. This is where his cabinet is going to have to come in and say, you know what, we need to zone out here, we need to zone out here, we need to create telecommunications here. We need to figure this out. We need to gather intelligence and make sure everyone is on the same page. It's basically a multiplexer. He's going to have mutual support. And if he doesn't, well, again, my last video, what does it say? It says warning, right? He's going to have warnings. You can't force a regime to resign at the threat of nuclear violence if you're not willing to do the same thing. You can't do that. I don't see. I'm looking forward to seeing what his executive orders are. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Supreme Court does. This is going to be interesting because we can see this channeling between Donald Trump and Clarence Thomas. There's a multiplicity of combinations there. Like, it's almost like a falsity that's existing there. Like, we have to find out like what is going on right there between those two people. We're going to have to figure that out. Americans are trying to get their assets back. We've seen like overnight, we've seen American Indians say things like, we're not Moors, but we're going to do what the Moors are doing. You have American Indians studying law books now. And you have the classical American Indians, right? The Native Americans. They're not talking about reading law books or anything like that, but some of them are converting to Islam and some of them are reading books now. You see what I mean? Like, some of them are reading books now. The ones who are on the reservations, your classical American Indians. So you have this whole network operation that's taking covert assignments on the YouTube portal, okay, which is a policy in itself. Can't say this, you can't say that without being censored. All right, so you have that going on. All right, so it's this whole night effect. You have who else do you have? Europeans. They're aiding everybody. That's all they can do. Okay, they're getting all these resources and they have to clean up what they did. They have to engage in peace because they were the first ones not to engage in peace during the silent wars, the original silent wars, which happened before World War I. They have to engage in that. Okay, they have to give that publicity. They have to go back and correct their mistakes. They have to say, well, this happened during this time, this happened during. They have to re-engage people with the real history because they took everybody's history. People don't know who they are, but they're living their history as they walk and get up day to day from, their beds. The news media, all Europeans, I see them on TikTok. I see the news anchors on TikTok. The white lady, the white lady, the white man. I see them on TikTok sitting in front of the news chambers as news representatives. I see it. Okay, so we have that whole floating dynamic going on. It's going to be a sweep. I see the Asiatic nations winning. Because you can't keep going around nations creating booby traps. You can't keep going around creating mines, throwing missiles and stuff like that, creating bombs out of Cheeto bags and stuff like that. You can't keep doing that. You can't keep raping children, raping women, throwing their animals off of cliffs. You can't keep doing that type of stuff. You can't keep beheading people. Okay, this is why we're really getting this whole escapade of mental health support. I just got a newsletter from the Human Services Department, and they're basically talking about shoring up what they've already done as far as like getting more peer support to people who need it. And of course, that's a sham. It's a sham because they are not doing enough to help the people who are suffering from mental health. They're not doing enough. So you have people coming over here and they're going to black hospitals. Okay, they're from war-torn countries. Their families have seen so much death and maiming, and they're coming to cities like Detroit, cities like Philadelphia, and they're seeing blight. So they can't eat. They don't have a strength to eat anything. So they're losing weight. Okay, they can't take care of their hygiene. They don't want to eat. They don't want to eat a noodle pack. They don't want to eat dates. They don't want to drink milk. They don't want to eat any. They don't want to pick up calories. They emotionally are disinvolved. So you have this whole thing going on, and the hospitals, they're just. I go into hospitals, man. I see the European women in there. They have their hands under their butt looking at a computer screen. This lady is in bed 9 screaming. She's emotionally unattached to what's happening in bed 9. Okay, I see these things. All right. You have a neutral state in Africa, and you have these Europeans trying to create a neutral state in America, and they can't do that because they're the ones who've been involved in starting the wars. So they're trying to back out what they did. Trump, I'm telling you, he has to keep Greenfield in that human rights position. And I don't know if he's going to do that, but hey, you need to do that. That's your best option right now. You need to keep Secretary Lloyd Austin where he's at. Okay, you need to keep people in positions who have a heightened of respect, who knows what's going on and how to deal with this climate. See, they have to pull the Joker out the hat. You know how you pull the Joker and you win a card game, you're playing spades, you pull that Joker out. That's what they're trying to do with Lloyd Austin and I think her name is Linda Greenfield. That's what they're trying to do with them. And it worked momentarily, but you can't hide behind them and still, again, set booby traps. You can't do that. Okay? World War III is going to be, and World War IV too, is going to be the ocean war. The wars is going to be taken onto the ocean. Because black people can't keep sitting around not getting into their environments, not tapping into their environments. Their pineal glands are shutting down. Okay? So keep in mind, pay attention to everything I just said. Like, keep in mind with what is going on. All right. I'm a private in the military, so I study clinical trials, anything dealing with healthcare, anything dealing with aggression. I study it. So great peace, Yakoki.